Ah, Italy. I mean, who hasn't dreamed of owning a home there, right? You can just picture it. The sun-drenched vineyards, the ancient cobblestone streets, that amazing smell of espresso wafting from a little cafe. It's a vision of a life just steeped in culture and charm. But for a lot of us, it feels like it's just that, a dream. Yet here's the thing. Trying to turn that dream into an actual deed in your hand can be, well, pretty tough. Especially for foreigners, there's some pretty big hurdles. Getting a mortgage from an Italian bank can be a real headache, and you usually need a massive cash deposit ready to go up front. It can really start to feel like that dream is just slipping away. But what if there was a different way in, a more gradual, kind of flexible path to making that Italian home of yours a reality? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. We're talking about a unique type of contract that pretty much acts as a bridge between just renting and actually owning. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to cover what this rent-to-buy idea is all about, how the agreement actually works, the super important legal protections you need to know, we'll weigh the pros and cons, and then, at the end, help you figure out if this might just be the right path for you.
So, first things first, let's start with the basics. What exactly is this bridge to ownership?
In Italy, you'll hear it called affitto con riscatto. And what it is a legally recognized contract that cleverly smashes two things into one. You've got a standard rental agreement, and you've got a preliminary sales contract. So, what that means is you move in as a tenant, but the whole time, the end goal is for you to become the owner. And this quote right here, it totally gets to the heart of what makes this so appealing. You get to live in your potential future home right now. Think of it like a test drive for a house. You get a real feel for the neighborhood, the community, the quirks of the property itself, all before you have to make that huge final commitment to buy it. Okay, so how does this actually work in the real world? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of how you go from being a renter to a full-fledged owner. So your monthly payment, it's doing double duty. It's almost always going to be higher than the normal rent in that area, and here's why. It gets split into two parts. One slice is just your basic rent, the fee for living there. But the other slice is basically an installment on your future down payment. It gets set aside and credited towards the final purchase price that you both agreed on from day one. The whole process follows a pretty clear roadmap. First, you sign the preliminary rent-to-buy contract. This is huge, because it locks in all the terms, including that all-important final price. Then you enter what's called the rental period, or godimento, and this can last for up to 10 years. Whenever you're ready, you officially say, okay, I'm buying it. And finally, you sign the final deed, the roghetto notarile, in front of a notary, and boom, the property is officially yours. Now, let's talk about something that is absolutely critical, legal security. This isn't just some casual handshake deal. Italian law has some very specific built-in protections to make sure your investment is safe. Okay, so you really need to understand the difference between the types of initial payments. An acconto is pretty straightforward. It's a down payment. If the seller backs out for some reason, you get it all back. Simple. But a caparra confirmatoria, now that's a much stronger commitment. If you, the buyer, decide to walk away, you'll lose that deposit. But, and listen to this because it's a huge protection for you, if the seller backs out, they are legally required to pay you back double the amount of your deposit. That's right, double. And here's another word you have to remember, transcrizione. Think of this as a legal force field for your agreement. It means you're officially registering your preliminary contract in the public land registry. Why is this so important? Because it puts the world on notice that you have a claim on that property. The owner can't just get a better offer and sell it out from under you. And your right to buy is even protected if the owner goes bankrupt or the property faces foreclosure. It's a powerful tool that lasts for the whole contract, up to 10 years. So, what happens when something breaks? Well, during that rental period, the responsibilities are split pretty clearly by law. You, as the renter, handle the ordinary day-to-day maintenance. The owner, on the other hand, is still on the hook for what they call extraordinary repairs. We're talking the big, expensive stuff. Structural walls, the roof, the main plumbing systems. Okay, this whole scheme sounds pretty promising, I know. But like any huge financial decision, we have to look at both sides of the coin. It's time for a little reality check on the real advantages and the very real risks. So on the plus side, you get to move in right away, you lock in today's price, which is amazing protection against a rising market, and you're basically forced to save for your down payment every single month, which makes getting that final, smaller mortgage way easier. But, and this is a big but, there are major risks. Those monthly payments are higher than regular rent. And if you decide not to buy in the end, you will almost certainly lose that entire down payment portion you've been paying. Poof, it's gone. It's also worth knowing these deals are usually more common in suburban or rural spots. And never forget, you are not the owner until that final deed is signed, period. So, with all that on the table, the good, the bad, and the legally complicated, how in the world do you decide if rent to buy is the right move for you? Well, it really boils down to asking yourself some tough, honest questions. First, can your bank account truly handle those higher monthly payments? Are you absolutely 100% committed to this specific property for the long haul? Have you actually budgeted for all the final costs, like notary fees and taxes, because they add up? Are you ready to start dealing with maintenance right away? And finally, and I'm not kidding, this is the most important one, have you had an independent Italian real estate lawyer look over every single word of that contract? That part is completely non-negotiable.
Look, the rent-to-buy scheme is a pretty creative solution, one that offers a unique, step-by-step path to owning a piece of Italy. It's definitely not for everyone, but for the right person, in the right circumstances, and with a lot of careful planning, it just might be that perfect bridge that finally connects you to your Italian dream.